Good morning. Today is Wednesday, April 16th, day 6 of recording myself every day. So I went to bed on time and got up as soon as I woke up. It's currently 7:23, 7:24, and I'm not, at least while recording these, I'm not used to waking up this early. Plan for today is to edit yesterday's video immediately, and then depending on how long that takes, I'll either do some work or make breakfast, then go to the gym, come home. I have to find something in between to do my gym session and my juggling session, and then after that I should just have time to work on the nutrition app and the calendar app. I'm going to be doing the documentation a lot today, so after I get done with my Google Gemini API, I'm going to be kind of like in extreme detail describing what is the function of each button and each feature of the website, so that I can kind of try to not exactly one-shot it, but just so if I give it to someone else, they kind of know exactly what I want, even if some of the features are broken because vibe coding is flawed. That's all I have for today. I should probably take a look at some of my school assignments and get those ready because I have four presentations. One I think is my part is already done. The other two I still think, or the other three, one of them I know I have to do a little bit for. One of them we have to wait a little bit to get started on it because it's running an ads campaign and we can't make the days go faster, so we have to wait for that to actually get some traction. Finally, we have the financial reporting and analysis one. My group's kind of like, of groups I've ever had, my group, I have the least confidence in this group. Two of the people, there's I think 4 people in my group, 2 of the people consistently get the worst grades in the class. I don't even study and somehow they get worse grades than me. And then the other guy seems somewhat competent, but I think that might be a little bit of me carrying them a little bit. We're doing Xiaomi for our technology. I think we're looking at a stock and we have to compare it to others based on their financial numbers, like the earnings per share and whatever. So, I mean, I'll learn more about Xiaomi and how they're doing compared to like Tesla, but that might be a bad comparison considering they're in different continents. So we'll see what I decide to do now, what I decide to do later. I might start actually using my calendar app because the tasks aren't working right now. I might just do events of when I propose this will happen instead of having tasks where it's I know I have to do this for this amount of duration. So that's the plan for now. I think I'm going to do a time lapse of me working. It's going to be a little dark, so I don't know how well it's going to turn out. But I am worried my phone's going to die today because my phone usually dies when I wake up, even slightly later. So I'm going to have to charge it at some point. So this is the only work session that I show y'all today, so I'm trying to get through everything I can about that. The first thing I feel like I've really been talking about lately is like leverage. So being comfortable with bringing in other people and then also giving them control is something I feel like I really have to learn. The next thing is I got 3 views yesterday on one of my videos, and then when I went to sleep, I got 2 more views yesterday, plus my first like and my first subscriber. I wish I could like see who it was, but YouTube doesn't have any way of saying that. And then the last thing I really want to focus on is just like as AI gets better and better, I think I just have to focus on building expertise so I can get better at leveraging it and then having like an expertise in a certain subject while using AI so that I can leverage it to the best of my abilities. Hopefully video editing will be something. Breakfast. Added chili oil today. Got the spinach. Ready to go. Already started, so I'm missing a little bit, but just finished breakfast. Earlier you saw me working. It was actually not very productive. I don't know why. It took me around 2 hours from when I woke up to when I actually finished, when I actually uploaded the video to get it done. I guess I have to kind of analyze and see like what are the points of my day or the points in like either getting ready that took a lot of time that I have to cut down on. Anyway, next, going to the gym. Today is a steady state on the bike because I'm having problems with my Achilles, so I can't go on the treadmill. It should be around an hour, and then I'm gonna come home and have a little bit of rest, maybe watch a half of a Barca game so I can study the players. After that, I have my juggling, and then the rest of the day I have working on the business, working on the nutrition app. During breakfast, I was listening to an Alex Hormozy podcast with a British dude. I don't know his name, but basically they were talking about leverage. If you're thinking about hiring someone, you think about the revenue that you have right now, but not about the revenue you would have added, which could be 2 or 3x if you get like a really good person to add to your business. It would free up more time for you, and you would have someone who's very specialized, very good at something to help you expand. And then on top of that, they talked about joining when Alex first moved to California, he joined a gym group, which he went up and pitched his idea and then said a bunch of details. And he's talked about how he just got a lot of experience because he said, "Oh, I'm thinking about doing this," and they would say, "Oh no, that's actually trash. You should do something else." Like for example, he said, "I was thinking of buying $2 per square foot," and they're like, "You should never go above 1.5." It's just trying to find other people who are further along than you to learn where they made mistakes, and then after that, you as an entrepreneur have to continue to experiment to see what works, what doesn't work, because you don't know your customer, you don't know what they're gonna like, you don't know what's gonna work. You have to, at least for a web app, you have to experiment with different like taglines or like call to actions and different formats of advertising, whether it be blogs, whether it be like YouTube advertisement, whether it be organic content. So just figuring out what works for you, allocating resources to do that, and then also experimenting so that you're not being left behind. The major example he gave was someone in the infomercial business. He was doing that for years and was super successful, but in like 2020, he was just trying to get started in the YouTube game. And by that point, it's already pretty late. Not saying that you can't do something if you're joining late, but you want to kind of always be at the cutting edge, because the top 20% of the people get like 80% of the rewards. So you want to be at the start and not trying to copy other people. But just because something's new doesn't mean it's not necessarily going to be adopted. Like there's many examples of things that are new, like either like Threads by Meta or the AR goggles by YouTube or by Apple. Not every new thing's going to be the next big thing, but being ready and experimenting in those potential new areas, just so if something does blow up, like for example, TikTok blow up, that you're there, and learning how to work with those specific, for that it would be advertising, but those specific platforms, learning those specific platforms and how to maximize your gains so that you're continually playing the game. Back from the gym, just did a fitness session. So I was on the bike instead of on the treadmill because I've been having some problems with my Achilles. So I got 32.8 kms in 60 minutes, which is pretty good. A little bit above 2 km per minute. I realized as I was going through the time that I was actually getting faster, like my velocity, which was what it was tracking, which I think is the rotations per minute, was going up as like more time was going by. So I don't know if it's just a function of I think I can actually do more than I think, or I get more tired, so I don't really think about pushing more and I actually just start doing it. But happy with how that went. I feel like I was actually pushing myself. I originally just thought that I could get 30 km, and then I realized a little bit through that I could get a lot more, so I pushed an extra 2.8 km. I was aiming for 33, but it's all right. Maybe that's just a target I can try to get next time. Now I think I'm going to watch a half of a football match just so I can rest before I do my juggling, because I've found that when I do my juggling on the days that I do my fitness like this, it's really shit. So I want to take as much rest as possible, so I can do well with that. And then juggling, and then the rest of the day, as I said, just working on the calendar, working on the nutrition app. I'm probably gonna map out the rest of my week so I can adequately schedule time so that I work on my school projects so that I'm prepared for next week. Next week's a really big week. I've been talking about it for a long time. A lot of presentations, a few tests, a few study sessions that I have to do. One of my classes, I have to do like a mock exam, but I can do it unlimited, and 80% of the questions that I'm gonna do on the mock exam are gonna be on the exact actual exam. So I wanna do as many questions. I think it's a pool of like 1,000 different questions. So I want to be really prepared for that test and ready to go into everything. Been good so far. Gonna try to keep pushing, keep doing anything. While I was on the bike, I was actually listening to another Alex Hormozy podcast where he was taking someone through their business. It was a cocktail business where they go to restaurants and then help them improve their cocktails, pricing different cocktails they can make, and then also training for their bartenders. And I was just thinking, like, I should go through my business, I have his $100 million offers book, and then I'm going to get his $100 million leads book. I think I'm going to ship the book from home to here and then go through the book and apply every single framework to my business so I can find out where my pain points, where am I lacking, and then try to make it improved. I mean, still the most important thing for me to do right now is just develop my app, because I think there's so much more I can do. But if I don't have anything, if I don't have a product to actually give the customer, then I'm wasting my time doing anything else. So that's just where where my thoughts are right now. I mean, another argument would be you generate a lot of traction so that you can maybe raise money up front so that then I could hire like other people. But I think the nutrition app will allow me to have the capital to then spend it on like either hiring someone for consulting / also building kind of the same thing I'm doing in the nutrition app, but for my app as well. So that's just my thoughts right now. And then want to continue to work and get that in. I'm probably going to have the time lapse of me watching the game and then the time lapse of me juggling before I check back in. I'm going to probably have lunch after juggling, my cold shower, then lunch, which I already pre-made. I do have to make dinner tonight, so I'm going to meal prep something, but that's all I have for right now. Here I was watching the Valencia-Barcelona 5-0 game from, I think, Copa del Rey. Barcelona was absolutely whipping them in the first half. It ended 4-0. Pedri was absolutely beautiful, dropping in ball after ball. Ferran Torres was just scoring at will. I think it's really important, I've said this before, but to watch like players, learn from them in any endeavor that you choose, like watching the best and then trying to take notes on what they're doing and how you can apply that to what you're doing. And then next I got into the juggling. I wasn't wearing a shirt because after the gym I was absolutely soaked, and wearing a soaked shirt just isn't very comfortable. But I'm excited for today because I get to improve my juggling targets and then try to make it harder. So I'm going to be back to not zero, but back to the bottom portion. So it'll be really hard, very frustrating. You can see me looking at the ball. The ball's starting to break already. I've had the ball for 2 months, but just finished juggling. You just saw that. About to take a cold shower, but something I was thinking about while I was juggling and just in general is that, especially with the juggling, I feel like I've found that I enjoy it a lot more the more I do it. And I think that's partly because I've aligned myself a lot more with, I know this is really important for me and I know that I have to be doing this every day. And then also I think as I've gotten better at juggling, I can tell while juggling that, damn, my averages, even though I'm still like messing up, my averages are a lot higher and I'm closer to the target. And it's not just like a one-off like rally of juggles that I'm getting to the target. I'm getting closer and closer. And then beyond that, when I do hit the target, I'm pushing to even do the next target. So add like another 50 juggles and try to get that before I end up failing. And I think I've really been able to see the progress that I've been making in the past like few weeks. I think tracking this and then building a plan to try to progress is really helpful. So tomorrow is Thursday, and Thursday is usually the day I have off. But because I moved my schedule around, I'm going to be juggling. But before I start my juggling, I'm going to be doing my weekly recap on how I did with my juggling. If I need to progress, I think I should progress at this point. I may be adding a few different variations that would be kind of more challenging so that my touch just gets better in harder situations. I mean, that's the goal, just to have complete mastery over the ball to where there's not like a certain situation that I'm going to practice over and over again, but just be able to manipulate the ball in any way that I want given any situation in a game. So that's what I'm thinking right now. And then on top of that, just like thinking about using ChatGPT leverage, I think has been really on my mind today in terms of using the resources that you have, such as ChatGPT, and then hopefully my Amplify app to help you better, to help you improve just over time. Because I think it's a lot more enjoyable for me, at least, if I can see the like tangible improvements, or at least I have something that's tracking the improvements. I can tell that I'm getting better, and that's just a very rewarding experience for me. So about to take a cold shower, do the thing I hate, do the thing that I absolutely hate right now, and then I'm gonna have lunch, and then after lunch, free for the rest of the day. Probably gonna, as I said earlier, plan out the rest of my week so that I allocate enough time for my studying, and then also work on the nutrition app a bit. I almost have the budget done. My dad said he wanted to check it out before I send it to everyone else, which I think is good. And the biggest like point that I'm not really sure about is the developer, like the cost to make an MVP for the product, partly because I don't know what they would quantify as an MVP, and then partly because I don't know the cost of a developer. I was just using ChatGPT and then looking around to try to find like what are reasonable costs, and it completely depends on what they want. So knowing what they want in different iterations would be really helpful, but just having an idea of what the project could be and then giving them an estimate of what I think I'm going to charge them for the project. I want to give a quick update. So I went to go take a shower. Oh my God, I am like I like just yell and like bitch the entire time because it sucks so much. It's so cold. I don't know. I feel like I've had cold showers before, but something about this one, it's like it's from Antarctica or something. I don't know. But I got through that, and then I did some work. I had a call with my dad to make him have like he helped me look at the budget real quick just so if he had any improvements. It was pretty good, and then I made the improvements. For some reason, it just felt like it took so long to do the nuanced, like small details. So it's about 6 now, which is like I got it done, which is good. And then I created like a additional document to provide some more like explanation on things that I thought needed it, such as what the different levels of an MVP could be like. But they have a meeting tonight, so I'm not going to be able to go to that, but they'll be able to discuss the budget and anything that needs to be talked about. The rest of the night, I'm going to cook food. ChatGPT looked like it just gave me an absolutely fire meal. So it's honey glazed chicken with fried rice, and I saw it and I'm super stoked to make it, so hopefully it's going to be good. I did make a few small changes to the YouTube channel. So I added a description for the first time, and then also I changed the format of the videos, the video titles, so that instead of day 6 : it's at the end of the title, it's -day 6. It's just a small change, but I thought it looked visually a lot nicer because although I do want people to be able to find what day I am on, I don't think it's the most important thing. I try to make my titles something that would actually be like interesting. I try to make my titles something that I would click on myself. So I try to make them a little bit interesting. So I want people to actually read them to see if they're actually doing well. I did see today, I don't know if it was my roommates, but I got 3 views on 3 videos. I don't get the analytics until tomorrow to see if they actually watched the video or they just clicked through all of them. And then also I didn't ask my roommates to see if it was just them, but I don't know. I think that's crazy. I mean, if one person watches my videos and I like help them in any way, like that's amazing. And then moving on the rest of the day, I'm going to try to cook as fast as I can and then do work on the
calendar building out the documentation for the calendar webpage. I started that a little bit today before I called my dad, but I really want to get that done so I can like kind of test if I can input that into a model to see if it will really work. And then also, I think it would just be very helpful to have that. So when I'm explaining to the models, I can just reference my own documentation of what I want and what I expect the inputs and outputs to be for the user. And then I have done my Duolingo. I have to do my Be Your Best, journal, and read. And I think those are the only three things that I have still to do for the rest of the day. And then I'm going to fill out the Excel sheet that I'm using to track my daily habits. I think that's all that I wanted to share right now. I think one day I'm going to have a video, like a voice recording of me doing the shower. Just, I think it would be funny for people to hear me just like yell and like kind of bitch. I think it's just something that would be funny for, as I already said, people to hear. But didn't record a time lapse because I wanted to charge my phone, which I'm now realizing was a terrible idea because I'm just gonna cook dinner, and it would have been better to like time lapse myself working because I wasn't using my phone anyway, and then charge my phone during dinner so I could probably have like a few more videos of either me doing my Be Your Best or doing my journaling. I don't know if I'm gonna record that. I think that's a little, I don't know. Like record basically me doing my actual day instead of just me cooking. But maybe we'll get a cooking time lapse. Although there's not a really good camera angle for me to put the phone to where I can show you the entire kitchen. But maybe that's something I'll try to test out. A little update on how the cooking is going. I have the sauce to put on the chicken that's currently cooking. It is honey, soy sauce, and then 1 garlic clove minced, and then 2 garlic cloves, and 1 carrot chopped up. And then after these are softened, so carrots are softened, I'm gonna scramble 2 eggs on one side, and then after that, I use instant rice because I'm lazy and I don't have a rice cooker. So I got 2 more in here. 100 cooked grams of rice to put into this pan to make some fried rice. And then I'm gonna combine all that together and eat it, and it's gonna be really scrumptious. I feel like a pro, put the eggs in, feel just like a pro, because I don't know, I feel like I'm cooking 2 things in one pan, never done that before. So always improving no matter what in my life, just like, no, I'm joking, I'm cheesing. I don't think it's just in school. Fully made, 2 extra portions. This is what I'm gonna eat now. So I got lunch and dinner tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be pretty good. Figure that out in a second. Update after dinner was scrumptious as predicted. But I've been listening while I was cooking, while I was eating, to this podcast, Everyday I think it's just Everyday AI. Wow, it sounds like I don't actually listen to this podcast, but I've been listening for the past like 2 months. I've listened to every single episode that he's released since then, and some of the past episodes, just because he's really helped me keep up to date on AI and like what's happening. And then if anyone's watching this now, I would definitely recommend go listen to the 500th episode. I'm about halfway through, I think a little bit over halfway. He's talking about how he's seen the changes since episode 1 to now and how he kind of predicts AI will change in the future. The biggest prediction that I have seen from this is kind of 2 predictions in one. But the first one is that big companies, especially public companies in the US, will lay off massive amounts of people. So they have like a big workforce and like a lot of junior analysts. They're going to be hiring a lot less people out of college, especially as these models continue to get better. And then those people there'll just be like large unemployment in the US. And then he predicts that the next wave of that will be entrepreneurialism widespread across the US, in terms that people will all have access to these really powerful models, all of these agentic and multi-agentic systems. So that they'll be able to create their own company essentially out of nothing using these powerful AI systems. And it just makes me think that I feel kind of bad for all the people who are in college right now thinking, especially about going into consulting. First of all, my opinion on consulting is that it's absolute bullshit. How are you coming out of college with zero expertise and gonna tell someone who's been working in their company for 30 years what to do? Like, that doesn't even fucking make sense. But anyway, I feel bad for these people because, especially at USC, consulting and investment banking are their two biggest pushed career paths in the Marshall School of Business. First of all, a lot of these people just aren't going to get hired. And then, second of all, these AI tools, the few that do get hired, are just going to become better than them so that they're going to get laid off even if they do get hired. You have to be an absolutely excellent first year, second year. I think it's associate. Actually, I don't know the progression of like corporate business, but early stage people are especially going to get absolutely cooked. And then he predicts that the people who are going to get cooked, they're going to spin off and create their own consulting business utilizing the same AI tools that these big companies are using because they have the expertise but are no longer in the company, and then charge a cheaper amount for the same experience. And people are going to kind of respond and listen to them because they did have the qualifications to get into these companies, but the corporate greed is going to get to the companies that are already established and they're not going to change their prices even though they're leveraging AI tools to do a lot of the research and make a lot of, I think they'll get good enough until to where they can implement slash suggest a lot of the changes that a company should make to increase profitability. It's just really interesting. I think we're in a really interesting time right now. Like these generative AI things, I don't even know what to call them. I think they're just going to get better in that kind of the world landscape as we know it today. I don't want to be like too overly optimistic like, oh, the world's going to completely change in 2 years, but I think it's going to have a similar effect in the as like the industrial revolution, as not as many people are going to be doing labor. They're going to have machines that can do the work of 20 people better. And it's going to be a similar thing. These AI systems are going to be able to do the work of 20 people at 10 times the speed. Like, that's just an example, but they're just going to keep on getting better and better, cheaper and cheaper until eventually, I don't know if there will ever be a point, but if there could be a point to where like human experience is even needed because it's all kind of understood by the AI already. It's just like what to do at that point. I think entertainment and arts would be not even entertainment in the fact that like making a image online, because you can just have an AI do that like with 4.0 image gem, Sora or Google Veo. I don't even know what the world would look like, but until that happens, I'm gonna keep working, keep doing what I'm gonna do. I don't know what time it is. I think it's around 7:40. I'm probably gonna start Be Your Best early, and then do my reading and journaling, and I think I'm gonna call it a day. Pretty good day. I wish I could have gone a little bit faster on the nuances for the budget, but I got that out. I got the explanation thing out, like guide to the spreadsheet, and then did everything else I needed to do. Pretty good day. Really pushing. I felt like I really pushed in fitness, and I'm really proud of that. Especially at the end, I was like a crazy person. I was like grabbing onto it, and the machine was entirely shaking. I had my phone on there, and it flew off, and I was like, "What the fuck was that?" But I don't know. Just trying to push every day. Doesn't really matter what's happening in the world. If the world's gonna end, I'm gonna work until the day it ends. Okay, pass. My balls. What? Weak pass. I got it out to the wing with going one on one with the back. Like, fuck off. What do they want me to do with that? Why is that an okay pass? run video. Dude, make a run. What is that? He just. Oh, I wish I could record these fucking sessions so I could show you all what I'm doing with. Dude, there's no like great pass. Good boy. That was probably the dumbest fucking thing you could have done. Oh, because it's dead. I just replaced his fucking battery. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, it's updated in progress. I'm almost slow. And he doesn't make the run. I think that was a shit sequence. Sometimes they have the shittest sweet sequence. Okay, another midfielder session. Wait, I don't want my phone to do the fucking. Oh, it's 1-2, 1-2. Because I'm supposed to have practice today, but first we don't have practice. Oh, little note for people watching. Apparently, Arsenal practiced at the same place we did, except that they didn't even use the field, which makes sense because they have a fence directly from the outside, but still cool. For reference, Arsenal is playing Real Madrid tonight for the Champions League after Arsenal whipped Real Madrid, or Declan Rice had 2 nice free kicks to whip Real Madrid 3-0. So we'll see how the return leg goes. I'm a Barcelona supporter, so I'm a Barcelona fan, but Real Madrid is magical in the UCL. So hopefully they lose. Or hopefully we get another Clasico, actually. Bang! I think I'm really close to something. And I am. I know exactly how this is going to go. He's going to pressure him, he's going to cut back, play me, I'm going to play the outside. Dude, I've played that scenario so many times. My face hurts. Dude, that's an excellent pass. Like, that's a one-touch finish when he pulled the defender. Don't give me that great pass bullshit. Those are egoists. I am Yoichi Isagi. Oh, that was such a cock tease. Ball tease. Just tease. I'm not playing that in the video. Can't have cursing. 950? Damn! That's pretty good. I kind of want to explain this, and I'm just going to do it in this video so I don't have to record the next one. But be your best. Like, I want to implement me just turning around, looking around all the time into my actual game, because I feel like that would directly correlate for me to have as much information as I can. It's something I don't do yet, and I think like top players do, where they're always looking around, and I think it's something I just have to like manually teach myself how to do, because I've never been a player who just automatically does that. So it's a learning process over the next few years. I want to get a lot better at that, just being able to always check my shoulder, especially like when the ball is just coming in to me. If I have a quick check as the ball's played, the ball's in motion towards me, if there's time, have a quick check to see if there's pressure coming. So like I know if I have time to look up, but I want to know what I'm doing with the ball before it gets to me. So I don't know, just like have all the information I can, all the inputs. Sometimes I talk like a nerd, where it's like I think of myself, I said this to someone and they just kind of laugh, but I think of myself kind of similar to like LLM, in the fact that the more inputs I have, I think the better like outputs I can have. So the input would be like the visual cues of me having a full view of what's going on in the field, and in order to do that, sometimes I get really locked into watching the ball, so I have to get better at especially when there's no chance for the ball to come to me, just looking around, looking at what my teammates are doing, looking at what are the passing options, trying to analyze the other team's formation to see if there's any like weaknesses in it. And then beyond that, thinking like what are their after finding like passing options or weaknesses, like trying to get on the ball in a favorable position so I can exploit those. Yeah, gonna journal. I'll time lapse it and then read, but I think I'm just gonna read in bed, so there won't be a video of that. But I'm gonna read. I have a little Kindle, and then currently I'm reading Sun Tzu, The Art of War. That's why I think yesterday. So not the video posted today, but the video posted yesterday. I had, if you look at the description, the top line is like a quote by Sun Tzu. Yeah, so go check that out if you want. I think this is the ending of day 7. Yep. So is that true? Yeah, because tomorrow is going to be a week, which would be day 8, because it's you start on 1, not 0. So first full week of me recording, been pretty good so far. I think I've gotten a lot better at talking, at recording, at editing, although I can want to continue to have the very like minimalistic edits, partly because it's easy, and then partly because I don't want to be one of those like dopamine junkies, like over edited video types. So yeah. Something I do still want to say is how bad I am at talking. I recorded a video while editing today, like a little quip about how I still am really bad, and about how my tone's really bad, and about how my stories just still aren't interesting. I really want to get better at that, but I can't see the improvements. So just want to acknowledge that I'm not where I want to be, but I am getting better, and just wanted to share that with y'all. And then this is my little journaling session, reviewing my day, and then writing out my notes.